What's going on, everyone? How are we doing today on this Tuesday, I think? I never know what day it is. Tuesday, February 1st. Okay. It's a weird week. I'm going to be leaving for the Midwest on Friday, and so I'm getting all sorts of stuff planned and prepped for my flights and for that trip, and so it doesn't feel like Tuesday, but happy Tuesday, everyone. Cheryl, okay, so let's say hey to everyone joining. Hit that like button on your way in, by the way, guys. That would really help the stream out. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hello from Washington, D.C. Good afternoon, Paige. Amy, hello. Joyce, hello. We'll go through some of your guys' comments as it relates to the case in a moment. We're going to obviously take things slow for the people who are not familiar with the case yet. Sasha, how's it going? Pamela, Monica, hello. Shooter McGavin, how's it going? Shooter, yeah, I saw that video. We may watch that one in this one for sure. I think I know what you're referring to. Nella, hello. Cheryl, Sandy. Holly's in the house. Hey, Holly. Yeah, looks like that's it. Jesse, hello from Philly. Jay Barrett, once again from Ireland, tuning in. Hello, Jay Barrett. Libby from the UK. Welcome. Karen, hey from the UK. We got some folks from the UK in here. Jennifer Harris, howdy. Good to see you again, Jennifer. We had the members-only live stream last night for the Tier 2 members, which are these fine folks right here. And so that was really nice to be able to chat with you guys in the Tier 2 members only live stream last night. I enjoyed that. Scroll back to see first comments. If you want me to see something again, Amy, retype it because I can only scroll so far back. First few comments. Amy K. Okay, let me go back. First few comments. Corinna, hello. Amy, I'm not seeing whatever comment it was. Oh, I saw a short video of the crossing that bridge after these murders. Terrifying. I couldn't do it. So high and missing boards. Yeah, we'll go through some of that video as well. But anyways, so we're going to go over the Delphi case today, and I'm curious. Obviously, there I can't talk and do anything at the same and type at the same time. Clearly, I'm going to put a poll up. Clearly, there are many of you that are aware of this case. To what extent, I'm not sure. So, are you familiar with the case? Go ahead and leave a vote in the poll. Let me know. I guess you don't have to let me know how familiar. For those of you who are very familiar with the case, this is going to be repeating some certain things. For the very few people that are unfamiliar with this case, this video is a good introduction for them. And so I apologize that this is going to be it's going to be redundant and repetitive for those of you who have gone through some of the other streamers and YouTubers that have talked about it. But I wanted to get started on this channel to at least have this introductory video through the timeline. And then we're going to map out everything so far. And so it'll be hopefully a really well-rounded video. We maybe aren't going to go into some of the speculation around the case. Hey Ty, how's it going? Ray in the chat as well. Lone Seagull, CJ Rogers, Valde, hello. But yeah, so we might not get into some of that as much today, but we'll save that for future videos. I'm going to turn the fan on because it's pretty hot in here. I don't know why I have a long sleeve on, but one sec. Okay. Shooter McGavin, glad you're covering it. Thank you. I like seeing it all again. We pick up new thoughts. Yeah, Amy, I agree. I think it never hurts for a new group of people to dive in to a case, look at it from maybe a different angle. I'm obviously going to be showing videos from other people that have covered it and done some research on it. But that's what we do on this channel. We analyze everything that we possibly can. So With that said, let me pull up my laptop so I can have this this up over here. Nella, I think I've watched every single YouTuber that covered this case, but map time here with you will be different. Thank you, Nella. I don't know how much different it'll be, but we'll have fun with it. I did find a really, really cool resource for this in terms of the maps, so we'll definitely follow that. But this is the Delphi murders, and I've linked down below the timeline from this WRTV Indianapolis article, and this is the timeline that I'm going to be following throughout the video. And so if you want to open this up in another tab or anything like that, feel free. This is kind of what I'm going to be following. But yeah, let's so yeah, we're 6 minutes in. Judy says, hi Aaron, nice day to live in Florida. It is. I haven't really been outside much, but it's nice. Joyce says, plus keeps it from being forgotten. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and Alicia's in here. I saw someone comment about Alicia. Thank you for being here, Alicia. And yeah, thanks for hitting like, everyone. We have 100 viewers. Definitely hit that like button. And yeah, let's get started. So on February 13th, 2017, Liberty, or quote in quotes, Libby German, and Abigail Abbey went missing from a hike near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let's see. Okay. Anyways, it was the last thing that they would do before they died. It was the last day they would be seen alive. The search for their killer continues. Here's a look at what happened since that day. So, Monday, February 13th, 2017, the day the girls went missing. 1:30 p.m., Liberty German and Abigail Williams were dropped off to go hiking near the Monon High Bridge just east of Delphi, according to family. So if we go to Delphi on the maps, which let's get a little map time in the chat if you are able to. We're diving into the maps here. I saw a comment from Cheryl earlier asking where Indiana was. So I don't know. I can't remember if Cheryl's not from the States, but Indiana is right here. This is the border right here. It has Illinois to the west and Ohio to the east, Michigan to the north, and Kentucky and Tennessee to the south. So this is Indiana right here. Specifically, we're looking just to the northeast of Lafayette. I love all the map times in the chat, everyone. Thank you. I feel like I just got bit by a spider or something. Does my arm look red? I just feel... I mean, I'm sure I didn't get bit by a spider, right? You guys feel that where you like, it like hurts? Feels like you got like stung by something? My arm is freaking out. It's like sharp pain. Anyways. It's a weird like stinging feel. Anyways, Nikki says, hello Aaron, it was good to see you in the WLA live stream. Boy, the chat there was crazy. Yeah, I was going off in that live stream today. I can't really do those live chats very much. Yeah, it's red, right? Why is it red all of a sudden? Am I gonna turn into Spider-Man? I have gotten bit by a brown recluse before. I don't think there's crazy spiders in Florida though, right? I don't know. Keep an eye on it for size. I think I'm okay. Jesus, what a way to start the stream. All right, Spider Aaron, let's get back to it. So this is Delphi. I think you can't get a spider bite until later. It itches. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I think I just started scratching. I have pretty sensitive skin, so I think it was just a weird feeling, and then I started messing with it, so it made it worse. Yeah, Jax, don't touch it. I'm not going to touch it. We'll check on it in 20 minutes. All right, so yeah, Delphi is right here. It's a relatively small town, and they went hiking near the Monon High Bridge. I'm just going to say Monon, or the Monin. I'm going to say Monin. Janet, thank you for becoming a level 1 supporter. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining. You can now use the... everyone's wanting me to like tend to my wound here all of a sudden. Hold on. I'm going to put some alcohol in it. One sec. Okay, I only had hydrogen peroxide, which is kind of like alcohol, right? It also looks way less red. So let's get back to it. My goodness. Okay, back to the timeline. 2:07 p.m., Libby posted a photo on her Snapchat account showing Abby walking across the old railroad bridge. This was the last time anyone heard from the girls. So that photo, if we quickly go to this here... this is the photo that they're referring to. This, I believe, was the first photo. This was taken... They were basically walking from this direction over here and then walking this way. And so Liberty must have went out ahead to take the photo. Am I good? Am I good on these names? Is that Libby in the photo? Let me make sure. So yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting these names right. Liberty, German sister. Okay, so Liberty would have been the one taking the photo there. Okay, great. So this is Abby here. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure I get it right. This is Abby here. Liberty would have taken this photo. So Liberty would have gone out ahead to look back to get this photo of Abby. Many are saying, or I know it came up earlier in my kind of initial research for this, that this looked like it was a person in the background, and that could have been the killer. And we'll get to that in a moment. I do not believe that that's what it is. Based on some videos I saw of the area. So yeah, it's hard to say. And someone says, Lynn says, why are the photos so different? One looks cloudy and the other looks sunny. It's hard to say. I mean, this one, so it could be a filter. Also, what iPhones and even just decent Android phones can do a really solid job of is high dynamic range photos, which basically means they can make the blue sky look really blue. When sometimes you would take a photo of something and the sky is really washed out in white. Maybe the difference between these photos was simply her, sometimes you'll tap the screen. If like you're taking a selfie and your face looks super blown out, depending on what kind of complexion you have, you can click yourself on the screen and then it exposes the image correctly. She may have not clicked to expose the sky better in this shot. And so, I mean, it could be filters mixed with just the way she took the photo. But apparently these were both taken pretty much at the exact same time or right after another. Between 2:30 and 5:30 p.m., the girls had set time to meet with family members to be picked up. When the family showed up to get them, they were nowhere to be found. Family began canvassing the area for Libby and Abby, but could not locate them. 5:30 p.m., after family could not locate the girls, they contacted the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. So I guess that's a pretty big span of time. Between 2:30 and 5 p.m., the girls had a set time to be picked up. Oh, so they're just saying around 5:30 p.m. is probably the time that they were supposed to be picked up. Because if they were dropped off at 1:30, I guess maybe they were to contact the dad to pick them back up, or the brother, or whoever's supposed to pick them back up around 2:30 to see if they were finished up with what they were doing. Keep in mind, everyone, I am just now going through this myself for the very first time. Oh, good. This is Yeah, there's no issue here. I must have just like scratched it or something. It's no more red than it was, so I think that's a positive sign. But anyways, Sheriff Tobe said crews began canvassing the area and tried pinging the girls' cell phones into the evening hours, but had no success in finding them. The sheriff said they believed the girls' phones were either dead or turned off. So 11:45 p.m., the search was called off just before midnight. Family members continued to scour the area searching for Libby and Abby. At this point in time, the sheriff said, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. No, I'm not going to try. I said I'm not going to try. He said they had no reason to believe that the girls were in imminent danger and crews would resume their search in the morning. Now, for a parent to hear no imminent danger. I mean, we can't find them. You were supposed to pick them up here between 2:30 and 5:30. We don't know where their phones are. No one's able to get a hold of them. No imminent danger, though. Just go home. We'll pick up search in the morning. Like, I get it that they can't always take every situation to the, like, super serious, because some of these situations ultimately are just somebody, getting in another car and going to a different location. Like, it was quoted in several articles that this is just what teens do sometimes. But it's like their parents, I'm sure, were like shocked, right? Absolutely, probably stayed up all night looking for them. So, where are we? All right. Tuesday, February 14th, the day the girls were found. At 10 a.m., all crews were called back to the area near Monon High Bridge to resume their search for Libby and Abby. 12:45 p.m., the Delphi fire chief announced they had found Libby and Abby, calling the discovery, quote, not good. And we'll get into that in a moment as well. Indiana State Police PIO Kim Riley, Carroll County Sheriff's Tobe and Delphi Police Chief Steve Mullins hold a joint press conference to announce the two bodies were found while crews were searching for Abby and Libby and Abby. Those bodies were not identified as the girls, but search efforts were officially scaled back. So I guess they weren't officially identified at that point, but we'll later figure out. I mean, the bodies were found in a horrific state. And yeah, part of me thinks that this is absolutely a serial killer situation, or at least somebody that could do this again and possibly has done it once before, with the different kind of signatures left behind. But yeah, then we go to February 15th, the next day. Authorities positively identified the two bodies found Tuesday as Abigail Williams, Liberty German, during a press conference held in Delphi. Autopsies were performed earlier that day, according to authorities. 6:50 p.m., Indiana State Police released the photo above of a man they believe was on the Delphi Historic Trail at the time that Abigail Williams and Liberty German were there. So let me quickly open this. So I believe this is the photo they posted. I don't know if they gave this out right away, but this is, I think, the photo that they're talking about that they released almost immediately. Cheryl, we will get into that in a moment. I don't know if it's specifically determined, but their bodies were not in good condition. Also, Spain wins. Let's see. Numero uno, Ron owned the field near the bridge. He was wearing the same clothes on the interview the day of the finding. See my video. Spain, we'll get into that in a moment. Yeah, I'm going to go through the different properties and show where, the different people that live in that area for sure. Thank you, Spain. February 16th, a search warrant was issued at a home on Bicycle Bridge Road. Police spent at least 2 hours taking photos and collecting evidence from the scene. No arrests were made. Let's go through it again. Hundreds of investigators joined the search for Libby and Abby's killer on February 17th. February 18th, thousands of people said goodbye to Libby and Abby during a public visitation held at the high school in Delphi. February 19th, the man in the photo officially named as, quote, prime suspect in Abby and Libby's murder. So They were officially named as a prime suspect, and I believe that's the photo they're referring to there. We're kind of going through this quickly because I want to get into the maps. But yeah, February 22nd, 10 a.m., FBI and the Indiana State Police held a press conference releasing audio from the day they were killed. So this is fairly soon after the murders. That this cell phone footage, they were able to extract the audio and give this to the public. So I'm going to play this audio in a moment. Investigators say both the image and audio came from Libby's cell phone. She's been heralded as a hero for recording the video. So the idea is that Libby saw the man walking towards them. So that should be mentioned, that this photo, if you guys are unaware, is taken from Libby's cell phone of a man walking across the bridge towards them. So we're going to play that audio in a moment. But before we do that, thank you so much, Julie, for the #1 fan super sticker. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Awesome. Glad to have you here, Julie. Thank you so much again. Let's play the audio. So the audio is actually available on the indiana.gov, kind of Indiana State Police website. You can actually download the video of him walking as well. But let's listen to that audio file real quick. It's pretty chilling. This is what you can hear. Hold on one second. They basically were able to hear and identify that someone said, "Guys, down the hill." So I'm gonna play that real quick.
Guys, down the hill. Guys, down the hill. Guys, down the hill.
I don't know if you guys were able to hear that. Hopefully it was loud enough. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit more on your guys' end and play that again. But you can hear kind of leaves crunching, and you can hear someone say, "Guys, down the hill." So I'm going to play it basically as loud as I can real quick.
Guys, down the hill. Guys, down the hill. Guys, down the hill.
So it cuts off there. Many are under the assumption, or they have the idea, that there was potentially 2 people involved with this, and maybe he was referring to someone else that was down the hill waiting for the girls. We're going to get into the exact route that the girls were on to end up in this position in a moment. And yeah, Cindy, so crazy they have all of this, no one arrested. It's pretty wild. I mean, we're talking 2017. And I know, Joyce, this gives you chills, the whole audio file there. Hey, Holly, how's it going? But yeah, that's what they have. And I don't know what happened and what caused Libby to record this video as this man was approaching. But good on her for doing that, because that's really, imagine if we didn't have this at all. If we had no image of anyone, no audio, regardless of how this guy's connected, there would be nothing with this case. So let's read a little bit more into this. February 23rd, 2017, the Delphi murder tip line was routed to the FBI's major case contract center in Washington, D.C. because of the sheer number of calls they were receiving. Crazy. So that audio file must have sparked many, many people thinking that they knew who the person was in the video. The FBI also announced that it is utilizing approximately 6,000 electronic billboards in 46 states to solicit information on the case. That's what's crazy about this, is we're talking 46 states at some level had an awareness of this case at one point or another in 2017. Cheryl, I don't believe it's considered a cold case. It's still active. Absolutely. There was new information just several weeks ago, which we can get into. If we don't today, we will in a future video. But it is absolutely not cold. People are 100% wanting to keep this thing alive. We need justice for these 2 girls for sure. And Joyce, I think they have more audio before she dropped her phone. I think that there might be more audio as well. That's just what they were able to give out. Possibly, for sure. Anyways, continuing on. Thanks again, everyone, for liking the stream. If we could get the stream over 100 likes, we have 18 likes to go. That will help push it out to more people in the algorithm. Thank you to the 157 people that are in here watching right now. Really appreciate it. Continuing on, community members begin to, quote, light up Delphi by installing orange lights in their porch lights as a tribute to the girls. That's interesting. February 25th. Investigators moved to a larger headquarters. ISP said the move was made to accommodate the city of Delphi, who has to use their buildings to conduct everyday business. Okay, so they established basically a headquarters, which is pretty wild. But then again, if you're in a small enough town like that, they conduct multiple levels of business, probably multiple types of business out of some of these city buildings. So they probably had to. Probably didn't take much to have to move to a larger space. February 27th, the reward being offered for information leading to an arrest in the case of the 2 murdered girls from Delphi was increased to $96,000, thanks to donations from the community and local businesses. Former Indianapolis Colts punter Pat McAfee and team owner Jim Irsay donated $97,000 to the reward fund to find the person who killed Abigail Williams and Libby German. So, Colts punter Pat McAfee, he's a big YouTuber in the kind of sports broadcast world. That's really cool. I didn't realize that. He used to play for the Colts, which is obviously an Indianapolis team. Good on him for pushing that donation basically up to $200,000 at that point. Also that day, the families of Liberty and Abigail toured the Delphi investigation headquarters. Abigail Williams' grandparents leave a message of encouragement for police on the board at the new Delphi headquarters. So family was pretty in the loop, it seemed like. March 2nd, singing contractors please release an emotional tribute to Libby and Abby to draw more attention. Great. Let's see. Vote, target, or random. Oh, are you saying we should do a vote? Let me do a vote. I'm going to do a new poll. Joyce, I will definitely do that. Thank you for the suggestion. A new poll going up. So I don't know if that's what you were referring to, Joyce, but I'm going to ask you guys anyways. Do you think, this is a new poll going up right now, do you think that this was a targeted attack or a random opportunity that this person just happened upon and that this happened just by chance and that it was random? Do you think it was targeted or random? Let me know. I'd love to know. Ray says, I think it was opportunistic. Corinna says, law enforcement is so afraid to make a mistake that they are choking this case cold. They do not release enough info to the public to allow the public to help them. That's a big thing. I think you're onto something there, Corinna. I think a lot of people will agree with you. Alex says, Corinna, my Austrian friend. Good to see you all in here. Let's continue. Thanks again for chatting amongst each other in the comments, keeping it nice, cool, calm, collected. Mimi says random. Interesting. All right. So obviously the reward has grown to almost $250,000 by mid-March. Abby's family speaks for the first time March 23rd since the girls were murdered. So we're talking 2 months and a couple of days for Abby's family to speak. It sounds like her great aunt was the first member to speak out. April 13th, 2 months, 16,000 tips, and over 500 interviews later, and still no suspects in Libby and Abby's murders. April 25th, the case's lead investigator speaks with Call 6 Investigates for the first time after almost 3 months, 16,000 tips, 500 interviews. Delphi murder investigators admit it's been hard, but they're just as confident as they were on day one that they'll find who killed Libby, and Abby. State Police is first. Sergeant Jerry Holman sits down with, okay, so some people, 16,000 tips, my goodness. But yet they're just as confident as day one. Yikes. Angela with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Angela. Angela, you were too kind. And also, I hope you haven't worked too hard today. I'm sure you're back at work. Hopefully you've had a good day. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Everyone, the super chats and the donations and the memberships, they all go towards the documentary I'm currently self-funding. So it's like you guys helping fund a bigger project that's beyond YouTube. This thing, I hope, will come out on a really large platform to where many, many people can hear about this case that I'm working on. It is a cold case. Effectively, it's a cold case. I can't really give too much out about it, but all of these super chats and donations are so much appreciated as I am pouring literally thousands of my own dollars into this production. So really, thank you so much, everyone. And just the people here watching and liking, it all helps the channel out. Thanks so much. July 15th, the first Memorial Softball Tournament. Okay, so I'm not going to lie, guys. I could go through some of these different timeline points, but we're through the bulk of it. And then there's stuff that happened, obviously, in 2022 that's current and new. And I know there's some stuff in between there that's important to talk about. But I'm going to skip past that right now and actually go straight into the maps to show you guys this route and this the locations to give a better perspective. Steve says, is it going to be on Netflix? That would be pretty cool, Steve. We'll see. I have a few connections there that, that would be the ideal situation. And a lot of people would be able to see it if that was the case. We will have to see, Steve. The thing has to be shot still, which is what I'm leaving Friday to do. So I have to shoot and edit it first. Okay, so the area where the girls were dropped off is actually right here, and I can't do a Google Street View on this particular road in Delphi, but it's just to the east of Delphi, and you'll actually see the Manon High Bridge Trail. Starting point is right here, at least on this map, and it should be mentioned that the Delphi is like a super prominent, like there's a lot of trails that run in and throughout the city of Delphi. They pride themselves on the many miles of trails that surround the city. A lot of people use these trails for exercise and just getting it out and about. And so it's very, very common for young kids even to go out on these trails and enjoy and utilize them. And it's just horrific that something like this happened out where people should feel safe and, be enjoying themselves. So they did not start at this part of the trail, but were dropped off at another entry point right over here. And they would have walked down through these trees on a path right down here, and it would have eventually spilled out onto the actual bridge where the photos were taken of the actual suspect that they have, or the supposed suspect, Aaron and Ron's houses. Okay. So this right here is the high bridge. This is where they would have gotten on. The first photo taken by Libby of Abby that we looked through already was supposedly taken. Let me go ahead and pull this back up. So if you guys can see, it was taken just past this second platform. So we see this first platform to the right, second platform to the left if you're walking down it. And then this photo was taken of Abby by Libby. And if you actually see on the bridge here, you can see the different platforms. So if we go back to the photo, we've got the first one off to the left in the photo, which would be off to the right, and then this one here. So you can't really see it, but one of those platforms I believe is right here, and then the other one would be right here. So that first photo that was taken was probably taken somewhere right here, looking down the bridge off in that direction there. So let's continue. And then they would have eventually walked and found their way all the way down to the end of the bridge. And that's where the video was taken, where the audio was extracted from that video of him saying, "Girls down the hill." So this right here, let me go to this one. This is where they would have come from. So actually, sorry, that's the cemetery. They would have started, let me rearrange a couple of these. Here we go. Here we go. So they would have entered right here and gone all the way down to the end of the bridge, which is 2,594 feet, which is under half a mile. So it's really not that far from where they were dropped off. And then where the cemetery comes into play. Actually, let's just go through this. The cemetery is where a lot of people think the suspect possibly parked his car. It would have been an easy trek to his car from where it all happened. So Lynn says the next platform. It would have been the next platform. Was I off by one platform? Thank you, Lynn. If so. If the suspect would have parked in this cemetery, which if we see, this is where the girls were let off here. They walked down and then ended up here. The suspect could have parked in the cemetery and walked through the trees to then get on the bridge right here, because he did walk across the bridge from this side. He didn't just hop onto the bridge through the trees. He had to have entered the bridge from this kind of north side of Deer Creek. No, in the audio he said guys down the hill, not girls down the hill. Did I say girls down the hill? I meant to say guys. Yeah, he says guys down the hill. Thank you, Alex. Melissa, thank you so much for joining and becoming a Tier 2 member. Welcome to the crew. Welcome. Thank you so much. You will be able to join the Tier 2 only streams that we have once a month. We just had our first one yesterday, so we will be having one again in February at the end of this month. It's now February. And then, of course, you will be mentioned at the end of every stream when I show everyone's names, all the Tier 2 level supporters. So thank you so much for joining. I appreciate the support. So anyways, the cemetery, I think that the law enforcement was asking for people in this area to confirm whether or not they saw any suspicious cars or things out of place in the cemetery. I'm not sure what they got from that. This is actually the area where the girls were found, or roughly in this area. So if we actually do the full route from where the cemetery starts, the suspect would have walked likely somewhere in this direction, entered onto the high bridge, walked down the high bridge, and then somewhere around here is where he would have been when the girls took that photo of him. So let me quickly go back to this. Delphi. So this is that quick little moment of him on the bridge. It's such a quick moment, walking towards the girls. And so that was somewhere around here. He says, guys down the hill. There is a steep hill that leads down to the Deer Creek, actual part of the creek. And I will measure this out, Alex. You say, how far from the bridge were they found? I'm pretty certain that this is the exact spot, or roughly right here, based on some coordinates I saw, that's where they were found. So if we measure this, let me quickly copy and paste this. We can pretty much pinpoint exactly where they were found. So if we go to the end of the bridge here, Alex, and measure the distance, and we kind of click down, not in a direct straight line, but roughly down to Deer Creek, through this area, which it is very easy to walk through. I saw several videos from different times of the year where water is going through there. Mostly every time of the year, throughout the whole year, you're going to be able to like walk through this water. They were found roughly in this area, so 637 feet. So really not far at all. I'm gonna look up how far is a football field. I'm drawing a blank. Football field is 360 feet. So like not quite two football fields. Sorry, not quite two football fields from the location. So if you can imagine a football field here and almost another one here, not really that far. And we're going to get into the property that they were found on in just a moment, because that's where it gets interesting. Is these are, other than the cemetery, these are, bits of property that are owned by, residents of Delphi. So we're going to get into that in a moment. Alex says not far. Yeah, it wasn't really far at all. So like I said, the killer, we're going to call him the suspect or the killer, could have walked them down, came through this area. This is where the murder took place. He could have easily gone back and forth to his car to get any sort of supplies, because there was props and things used at the scene. It was a very horrific scene. Apparently he brought items. It was very much a signature, is what they said. He left behind something. He left behind things to kind of sign off his killings, which is awful. But this would be the full route. If he started here in the cemetery and walked all the way around, we're talking under a mile for him to walk up to the bridge, track them down, go into the woods here where they ended up being found, unfortunately, and then just walking back to the edge of the cemetery is 3,113 feet. So, really under a mile, super. I mean, I know that there's some terrain differences there, so it just depends on, how easy it would have been to trek around in those trees and on the hillside, but not super far overall. Mike, thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate that. Amy says, how far apart were the girls found from each other? I don't think they were found too far from each other at all. Lynn says they were found 50 feet from the creek. That's all I know. Okay, Lynn, so let's test this. If they were found 50 feet from the creek, which I believe, I'm going to go back and forth. Everything I've seen online shows them right here. And so if I clear this measurement and go from right here and go straight to the creek, it's saying 100 feet. So somewhere between here and here, I think, is probably where they were found. Spain says the girls were told they were under arrest, and then when they walked to his field, he stabbed one of them in the neck. The other one, Libby, he did crazy stuff. I don't know, Spain, where you heard that he told them they were under arrest, but it is, a lot of people are speculating that he had a gun, and that's how he was able to keep them at bay. I will say this image here, I'm going to zoom in on it. Let me pull it up here. To me, now, I don't know what you guys think, and this was the first released composite sketch that actually was the second composite sketch that they put out. This is the main one that they released. They actually backtracked and released, sorry, I'm all over the place with my stuff. They ended up confirming and going with this composite sketch instead, saying that this is a more accurate depiction of who they're looking for. But if we go back to that other image, real quick, just because it's a little bit clearer on this side, tell me what you all think. I think in his jacket, to me, this looks like a gun right here. It looks like this is the handle of the gun. It's not a proper way you'd want to put the gun in your pocket, but this looks like it could be the barrel. This is the the action or whatever that thing is on a gun that you cock back, right? I'm drawing a blank. Maybe it's just the way it looks to me. I mean, when you zoom out a little bit more, it almost looks like it even more. Like can I draw on this? Let me just draw. Oh, wow, that's terrible. Erase. Why can't I zoom in? You see what I'm saying right there? I'm trying to draw a gun. Okay, save. I guess I'm gonna, letting your ink dry. Wonderful. Let me see if I can pull that image up now. Why is it not? Okay, cool. I guess it's just let my ink dry somewhere else. I don't know where it would have saved that. But hopefully you guys saw what I was saying. Jason Ludwood says, I see what you're saying, but I'm not sold on it yet. Yeah, I'm not sold on it either, but I mean, Mike says it does. Wow. The safety? No, I don't know if it would have been the safety, because sometimes safeties are like down here by the trigger. I'm talking about the thing you pull back, the hammer. I think it's the hammer of a gun. But yeah, either way, let me just, man, do you guys think it looks like a gun? I think it looks like a gun. Why you would put it in your pocket like that, I don't know. But once again, like the gun would be facing this way. The bullet would come out of this part right here. I don't know. It just looks like it to me. I mean, technically it could be in his pocket facing down too. But when you watch the video, it even looks like, it even looks like it when you're watching the video. You can see like watch the video again. I mean, look at that shadow that's casting. There's definitely a bulge in his pocket here. G Mama says that's a gun. I mean, it really does. Look at that when he's walking. There's just seriously something there. Jay Barrett says, yes, it looks like a gun. Okay, so I'm glad a lot of you agree with me, just because I just thought that right off the bat. So I'm glad I'm not crazy in thinking that. But anyways, but yeah, so let's look at the property. So if they were found roughly in this area, let's see, in this area right here, if we go to the actual property viewer map, which I don't know how many people have done this yet, we can see that this is the cemetery right here, okay? And if we go to the bottom of this image, we can see that straight down south of the cemetery, almost dead center, if we go to the center of the cemetery down, their bodies were found almost directly center, okay? So if we go to that property viewer once more, we can see this is the cemetery. If we follow it down almost center from here to the water, their bodies were found roughly in this area. So this piece of property right here, and as we can see, it is owned by Ronald E. Logan. So that's who owns the property. If you click the property next to it, we can see that it is owned by Ronald E. Logan. And then the property to the east of that is owned by Ronald E. Logan, or Logan Ronald. I guess it'd be probably Ronald E. Logan. And then if we zoom out, so he owns this property, and this property. This big property here is also Ronald E. Logan's property. So I assume he probably lives right off the road here and just owns these. However, I've been told that there was a house even closer to the water, and I'm unaware if that's true. But I did come across a photo. Someone was also saying, let's see, someone said something about it could be a prop gun, which that's true. I mean, 100% it could be a prop gun. Also, check it out, everyone. No red mark. Just my freckle. I think I just like freaked out and started scratching it. If you guys are joining the stream late, you're like, what are you talking about on your arm? I thought I got bit by something at the beginning of the stream, but I don't think I did. So sorry, tangents. I think that there was a property that overlooked where the girls would have been on the creek. So let me look at this photo. This was a photo that's saying from the south end home. So it's looking through the trees. These are people staging as if there was one man and then the two girls. And so let's see. Ron Logan died. Did he die? I don't know. Also, Alicia says they must have known they were in trouble if Liberty started recording. Absolutely. I think so. Especially if he said something prior to them recording. Like, what caused them to start recording? I mean, I'm sure they probably came across a person or two maybe on the trails, but I'm sure it wasn't uncommon probably. Like I said, this city is filled with these trails that have public access. And so he must have said something, or they got just that gut feeling that something was wrong when he was approaching them to start recording. So, anyways, if we look at this, so this is from the south end home. I'm going to try to match up the ground here and see. Let's do that real quick. So we've got like a big sandbar area in the middle, this on one end, and then this big one on the other end. I mean, that pretty much lines up perfectly with this big spot here, this one in the middle, and then this one on the north end. So there's a house on the south then? Oh, is this the one they're talking about? So did that photo? Oh, look at that. I bet that's it. I bet that's the angle from that south home. So if you go to the edge of the creek here, looking down into the water, I feel like they'd be further over. Maybe there's another house right here by these trees, or they were just saying from that property and from that, because this would be south of the creek. So I bet that was taken like from this angle here. If we go to the photo, yeah, that lines up pretty much perfectly. You got the washed out, the white right here, this in the middle, this on the far side. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's see who owns that property to the south then. So that would be this property here. Doesn't say. Why doesn't it say? It says Weber K. Huh. Oh, owner. Yeah, K Weber right over here. Let me move this over to the side. Owner Weber K. So that's something interesting. All right, what's everyone saying? Who owns that property? That's what I'm looking at, Ty. Yeah, it looks like Weber, K Weber owns this property here. So that would have been the property that looks from the southwest or southeast looking into that area. The voice on the recording sounded like an older man. Yeah, I agree. He definitely sounds fairly, much older. It was a little bit muffled. You could hear the leaves crunching and stuff. So I don't know. Someone was asking how old this case is. Shooter McGavin says it will be 5 years on February 13th. Yeah, this case is almost half a decade old now. And it's a strange one. It's so weird that they have all of this. It's such a small community. Yeah, I don't understand it. I want to go through a video that's, and Angela, I agree with you. It's definitely someone from that area and that knows the area. I would bet on that as well. What's really, really cool is this video, and I'm going to put up the YouTube channel. This is from has this been up the whole time, guys? Oh no. Oh, it has, hasn't it? YouTube.com/Gray Hughes Investigates, I think has been up the whole stream on the, yeah, it has. Well, he's been getting shout outs this whole time, but rightfully so, because I'm going to go through his video here. He basically walks the entire route of that the girls went on. Okay, so I'll leave the video here. In the top right of your screen, you can see he has it marked as Libby, but it's both of them. He walked the entire bridge, and I know that some people, Amelia says something about walking across a bridge and definitely not wanting to do that. I just don't understand why anyone would want to walk across that bridge, especially young teens. I know we can live paranoid, but why was that area such an attraction? I don't know either. It seemed like a lot of people went here. It's probably one of those things where high school kids went and hung out. I'm sure that if you look back on it, there's probably a lot of tragic things that have happened here. Maybe not though, because you would think that they would close the bridge if there was even a couple of accidents, handful of accidents. But I feel like a lot of towns have stories like this where it's like a spot for kids to hang out. Maybe it's a little dangerous, maybe it's not, but kids do it anyways, right? Holly says the man on the video didn't look like he was very, very fit to chase down teenagers. Yeah, Holly, I agree. And that's why I think if the man in the video was acting alone, if there wasn't anyone down the hill waiting for them, then I think he likely had either a fake gun or a real gun or some sort of weapon to keep them at bay and keep them listening, right? All right. So this guy talks about the different platforms. So we're going to go through this step by step, but basically he even lines up the vines here. I mean, look at this. This is Liberty's photo over here. So if I move this down, sorry, let me move this down. In the top right of the screen where my mouse is at, you guys can see this is from that Snapchat photo that we saw earlier that Liberty took. And everything lines up perfectly with his walking video here. So you can see there's a bit of something coming off of this platform over here. Same thing over here. The vine that he's pointing out down here on the actual railroad ties or whatever these are, the platform, that's there. I know that this is kind of in the way of it right now. If I move it up, you can see the vine is still grown over in that exact spot. So that's pretty interesting. Angela says, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So you can tell that this is where she would have taken that shot. So they would have been walking onto the bridge, heading east. Libby took and uploaded to Snapchat that first photo. And then he goes on to basically, if I scrub forward to this next platform, it says shot number 2, Libby positions herself on platform number 3 and takes a picture of Abby. So this is where she would have turned around to look this direction to take this photo of Abby. So real quick, you can see, I mean, even like the brokenness of this, I mean, it's kind of maybe hard to see for you guys. This this piece of wood right here is very broken. So is this one right here. And like I said, it might be hard to see for you guys. But yeah, her right foot is clearly right there. And once again, this image way in the background, it should be noted that this is okay, so we're at 8:18. We'll have to come back to it. This is what a lot of the locals are talking about, that people saw in the background of that image. Let me just let this play through. I'm going to pull it up once again. Pause there. As you can see, this big orange kind of structure, you can see this post sticking up, and it almost lines up perfectly. Not this post here with the two crosses on it, but this post here on the right probably lines up pretty much perfectly straight and center with the tracks, with the bridge. And I think that that's what people are seeing in the background of this photo. So people thought that this dark figure, this image showing this dark figure, could have been the killer. And though he was probably making his way to the bridge, maybe in these trees over here, if he came from the cemetery, I don't believe that that's what this is. I think that this is one of those orange stakes, or not stakes, it's part of the orange structure that's in the background. So with that said, let's continue on. Yeah, it's definitely not a gate. It doesn't keep people out, that's for sure. But he did an excellent job on this. I'm actually kind of glad the youtube.com/GrayHughesInvestigates has been up the entire stream, because this video is just so beneficial. I mean, look at the two, sorry for scrubbing around, but you see this platform here, and then this one way off in the distance that would be to the right, as if you're just getting on. I mean, you can see perfectly when he tilts his camera up, that's exactly the two right here. Kind of looks like a tree though. It could be a tree, but I mean, look at it dead center, and it's just past. It looks like that structure to me. Cindy says, very sad to see the last photos. Oh yeah. I mean, when you really think about this case, like knowing that that's like the last image of these girls, or of Abby, it's heart-wrenching for sure. This is one of those cases. It's like this this has to get solved. These girls were just like, oh, it's horrific how these girls were found. Their families deserve some justice. Jay Barrett says, correct, Aaron, that's the pole in the background. Yeah, I think so. But if we're looking at this, you can see, and I kind of scrubbed over some of the parts of the beginning where you can really see that there's a few of these that are absolutely missing, like 100% in the video, or in the bridge. So you could easily fall through. So these are going to come in later. These trees that are forked in on the right side, they're actually in the image of the guy. So keep that in mind as we scrub forward. Monica says, yeah, that bridge looks so dangerous. I agree. This is one of the last two little platforms here. You can see the one off to the right. He's saying platform 5 is the platform behind the suspect in the video. So once again, let's quickly go to this image here. Let's just let him play it out. I mean, he puts it up in a second. Everyone hit the like button on the stream. Let's get it to, we have 200 people in here. Thank you guys so much. Let's get the likes up so the YouTube algorithm can push this video out to more people. More people can hear about this case, and we can keep this story alive, because it has been almost 5 years. Crazy. Cannot let this case go cold. There's too much evidence, or at the very least, there's too much surrounding it to let it go cold. They say when viewing the suspect image, there is an unusual bright spot on the side rail. So keep that in mind as well. He's going to line this up perfectly. It's really awesome. Platform 6 is 70 feet from the end of the southeast end. So he really lines up the distances in a really solid way here. So, I mean, gosh, you can see the gaps. So here's the end. There's crime scene tape right now, which is pretty wild. But Abby and Libby were off of the southeast end of the bridge when Libby shot video of the suspect. The suspect is heading towards them in the video stills. So this is where they would turn around. And then this is where they would have been shooting that infamous video of the man walking across the bridge. Now, just once again, for reference, that entire bridge that we would have walked across, now Google has it looking like a roller coaster right now, but it was suspended in the air many, many feet, and they would have walked across this entire bridge and then turned around to look back down towards the west. Okay, so this is where we're looking in this video now. Okay, and like I said, if the killer did in fact come from the cemetery, he could have very well walked from the cemetery through the woods onto the bridge and walked down, and that's when they would have taken this video here. So he actually does what I would do if I had this footage. This is so cool. B&H. Oh, ads. I didn't get YouTube Premium. I actually tried to get YouTube Premium. There's an issue with it when I got off the stream last time. I was subscribed to YouTube Premium a while ago, and it was under like a different card. And anyways, I had issues. I did try to get YouTube Premium. I digress. Here's the image here. He basically is pointing out that tree that he showed in the earlier part of the video. Okay, so here you can see this Y tree off in the distance. And I mean, there's some real key points sticking off the tree here that are very clearly in this image here. So he'll actually shrink the image and overlay it perfectly to show how far he was away. So like, look at how perfect this lines up. And he actually flickers it on and off. You can see the tree in the background lines up perfectly. So that video, I don't know if they were zoomed in, because clearly if they were taking a video that was a wide focal length, this man who's posted this YouTube video, you would see way more of the train tracks. They were of course shooting with vertical video for Snapchat. So we see that the frame that we're looking at is vertical. I don't know how zoomed in they were, or if they were closer to him actually on the tracks, but this is incredible how he's lining this up. And you can see that bright spot in the background as well. Let me just let that flicker again. Look down here. I know we were focused on the trees. This spot right here that my mouse is going around. Let's just look at that flicker spot again. I mean, you can see it right down here by his feet. So really, really focus on, really focus down here, just to the left of him right here. Yeah, you can see it just behind him. If I move my mouse, there you go. So yeah, it lines up perfect. LE, sorry, what does that mean? Oh, law enforcement. It's law enforcement, yeah. Lots of lingo. But yeah, here's the road. So this would be the down the hill that he was referring to. So if Libby and Abby did in fact, they had to have gone down this hill to end up where they ended up. It is said that no one could carry someone down that hill and up through the river to where they ended up. So they likely had to go down this hill. Now, this road that we're seeing, you can't really see it on Google Maps, but you can see the actual outline where the road is under the trees. And what's interesting is this road leads up to that property that's on the south side of the creek that we saw from that photo. Remember that photo that we just looked at maybe 15 minutes ago? If you look at an older Google image, this would be the abduction site. This would be down the hill. This is what we're looking at down the hill now, which is that road. This is the road through the trees that leads to that property. So you can actually see through the trees a little bit more right here. So they would have gone down the hill, across the road, entrance to the bank, across the creek, and then, like I said, the murder scene being roughly 50 feet to 100 feet inland from the river. So let's continue, I guess, playing this out for a moment. You can see he looks back towards the bridge. It's certainly pretty steep. But yeah, that's it down the hill. And then they go up to the creek, actually.
People.
And then, yeah, this is the crime scene tape across the creek that I think some people were referring to. And so, yeah, that video footage is super valuable to be able to line things up from their entire walk. It really puts a lot of things into perspective. One thing that I really love doing that on this channel. And so obviously we're only able to do that so much with the maps, but it really, really cool that guy was able to go out there and get that video footage. From the screen layout, you look like you are broadcasting out of your little info booth. Out of my own little info booth? What do you mean? I am in my own little booth. This is my haven. Live broadcasting. I don't have a radio voice. Who found the girls and how long did it take? So, I don't know how long you have been watching the stream, but if we go back into the actual timeline here that I've linked down below in the description, the girls were found okay, so let me see. They were found right here. So a search warrant was issued. So they went missing on the 13th, and they were found on the 14th. Okay, so the Delphi fire chief announced that they had found Libby and Abby. They announced that at 12:45 p.m. So that's when they were found. I believe it was the police chief. Oh, here's a really, really good map. So speaking of the maps, guys, this was also found. I'm going to take this YouTube channel off now that we're not showcasing theirs. Angela's leaving for customers. This is really, really interesting. This is the trail entrance. Okay. This is where they were dropped off. This is such a great map. This was on Reddit, I found. So this is where they would have gotten onto the trail and then gone to the north side of the bridge. This is where they would have crossed the bridge. This orange is indicating the entire the bridge itself. And then this is where the abduction site, they're calling it the abduction site, would have been, because this is where he would have been walking towards them here. And then this red line is part of the abduction across the creek, Deer Creek bed, bank exit, murder scene. And if we zoom out and see all of this in one image, it's just such a small space. Like, it's such a small route. More map time, absolutely. And so I figured that they're showing the entire RL property. So this is all of his properties combined. I know we went through and looked at his different properties, RIP, Ronald Logan, but they join all of those together in this image here to show that this is his entire property. But I found this to be like super valuable just to give that perspective. And I guess one thing that they did in their initial search, because we're talking about the search here, apparently this purple is indicating the initial search area. So I guess since they were at the Monon High Bridge Trail, even though they were dropped off here, the initial search for them that day from law enforcement started here because they wanted to look for all evidence from the entrance to the trail. So if this guy did in fact park at the trailhead and walked throughout the entire trail, they didn't even know at this point that they were dead, right? So they were looking to see maybe the girls wandered back towards where they were dropped off, and then instead went to the entrance of the trail. So if we look, the actual perimeter of the trail ends very conveniently around the bridge. So that first day, excuse me, I need to take a sip of water. Paige, we'll get to that in a moment. I have the entire foot distance of the walk. I thought I mentioned it, but I'll show it again. They clearly searched a little bit in every direction, clearly underneath the bridge. This would be an area you would absolutely want to search. Alicia, go grab your water. Everyone will behave. That would probably be the first thing that they would think is like, was there an accident that happened, right? Was there an accident that happened that caused them? I got to refresh this. I feel like my video thing is all off. Monons. Oh, thank you, Eileen. Monon High Bridge. Thank you. But they absolutely searched the area underneath it because their first thought was probably they could have fallen, they could have been injured. But anyways, nowadays, if you go hiking, bring some form of protection: pepper spray, a knife, a machete, bear mace, whistle. Never hike alone. Go with a group. That's a good point. Regardless, I think at least going with someone or letting someone know where you're going to be is the first step. But then, having some form of protection is pretty important. Fakey Willie says, too many tabs open. Well, I mean, this is what you've got to do. If we're going to stream for an hour and a half, we got to have things open and ready to analyze. But as you can see, the murder scene was not in their initial search from day one. So people were like, how did they not find them? And it's like, there was quite a bit to go through in that first day. I mean, they found them essentially the next day. So it wasn't like it took them 3 or 4 days. They were bound to find them, which is also another thing. This man didn't murder them and then leave and then, tried to hide them and take them far away from where they were supposed to be. He was wanting them to be found. And he was very clearly wanting them to be found in a specific way. So continuing on, and it looks like a lot of you, 61% of you, say that you think that this was a targeted attack, not random. So that can mean a lot of things. That can still mean that he may have known that they went to the trail often and had seen them in the area and was waiting for that opportunity to target them, or it was targeted in that he knew that there would be people on the trail. Like, I guess random would mean that he had no idea who would be there. I don't know. I think it was targeted probably as well. But Bobby says you could just get an ad blocker. The thing about it, when I'm not streaming, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not too worried about ads. I just watch them or I skip them. They're like 6 seconds, right? So I think it's just when I stream, obviously, it's annoying sometimes. Kate, my internet sucks today. Off to sleep instead. See you all soon. Thank you for being here, Kate. Kate, one of the tier 2 supporters. Big shout out to you. I know you're not going to be here for the end of the stream when I shout out the tier 2 folks, but thank you so much for being here. Corinna says the search area makes sense. Yeah, I think it makes sense too. But someone was asking how far I don't know who it was, if it was Alex or who it was, asking how far they were from how far their bodies were from where they were dropped off, how many feet. And so if we go through that, we can see if they were dropped off right by the road, I measured the entire distance along the path to where basically this is where they took the video of him. So if we actually measure, clear the measurement and do that again, we can go all the way to the spot where they were found. So if we add a measurement and we do like a little rough measurement through the trees, basically the path is right in the center. You can almost see the path in the tree line. And then it leads to the bridge. All the way to the end of the bridge. So we're at 2,577 feet here. And then if we go down the hill, which is just awful to think of them being led down the hill in one way or another, their bodies were found essentially right here-ish. So 3,300 feet, roughly, give or take a few feet, which is what? 60% of a mile. How many? Okay, let's just see. 5,280 feet in a mile. So feet to miles would be 3,100. What did I say? 3,130 feet. Yeah, 3,300 feet. So that would be, 0.6 miles. So just over half a mile from where they were dropped off is where their bodies were found. So pretty wild, 3,000 feet. Let's see, Spain. The police didn't release that info. One of the girls was found with her two pulled up bath. Both had no underwear. The other girl was badly mutated, and her head was almost off. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit gross. It's going to be a little bit, it's horrific to talk about, but Libby, I think her head was basically barely hanging on. So that gives you an idea. These girls weren't just like shot or stabbed. God, man. They were like, it's hard to get into it, man. They were brutally murdered. Libby, especially, it sounds like was in worse shape. And I don't know the exact details, but things were left behind. Articles of clothing, it sounds like, or pictures or something. It sounds like some sort of shrine. So yeah. Yeah. Anyways, it's pretty awful. Someone was asking if I'm going to get into the leaked text messages. I'm not sure, so I need to look into that. Leaked. Oh, are you talking about the Anthony shots? Oh, the actual leaked text messages about the bodies. I did see that. Let me look into that, Mimi. So, not entirely sure what is true and what is not from these leaked. Oh, let me make sure that nothing pops up here. It's just a random website. This isn't all of the leaked messages, but someone says they were not bounded, they were touching, but not tied together. Abby was dressed, Libby was nude. Libby's top was covered with leaves and sticks, almost like they were trying to cover her. Let me try to find the other message. Whoever did targeted Libby for sure, and knew what they were doing with Abby. It was personal with Libby. I think I may have said Abby earlier. Yes, I heard Libby had most of the injuries, but it could be that she was trying to defend Abby. She was bigger. Libby's head was an inch away from being taken completely off. Abby was stabbed in the heart and artery in her neck. So, not sure. I think that was like amongst family members leaked messages, but oh my gosh. Yeah, it's rough. Alex says def some MO of the killer. Yeah, something's weird with this one. Mimi says dolls at the crime scene. Yeah, I think and I'm gonna leave it there in terms of the details, because it's awful. But it's very clear that it was somebody that wanted them to be found. Like I said, it's not like they were taken out of that area. To me, I think the guy seemed pretty old. And so my theory or my idea is that he absolutely, maybe he had a gun. Here's a thought. Maybe he had a gun, and that was his way of getting them to try to cooperate with him, right? Say he went from the cemetery like we have here. He followed the trail, or he went up to the trail, followed them across the bridge. Right here is down the hill, right? Guys, down the hill. Maybe they were at gunpoint, or there was a knife or some sort of a weapon. He was trying to get them back, because this would be the direction back to where his car would be if he indeed did park at the cemetery, which would make sense, I feel like, for that location. Maybe at this point, and God, it's just crazy to think about, but maybe Abby and Libby were fighting back at this point. I also heard or read something that there was definitely some stuff under fingernails, so I don't know what they have in terms of DNA. It just sounds like this scene should have more. They should be able to pull more from this scene. But maybe at this point, halfway up to the cemetery, maybe he was trying to get them to his car, and that's where things took a turn, and he just decided to kill them right there. And then in the heat of the moment, if it was just one guy acting alone, if he was an older guy, maybe he wasn't able to carry them or take them out of there, and he decided to just leave them right there. The Terrafly says, finally, this case is getting really researched. Thank you. I mean, I don't want to claim any sort of like detailed analysis on this. I'm simply, I'm simply going over it based on information that I found just on YouTube from other people, but I'm just kind of wanting to look at it from another angle. So Cheryl says, take a break. What do you mean, Cheryl? We're going. We're an hour and a half into this thing. I'm going to probably be hopping off somewhat soon, but please give us the details. Need the big picture. Yeah, Alex, these are the details that I really know so far. So I can't really give much beyond that. There was another, so there's a whole other thing with this, and I think it's worth mentioning. The Anthony Shots profile. Beautiful wife is calling me. Let me do a BRB on the chat. Hello? Okay. Mimi says, your lives are long, but when you watch, they seem shorter. Well, that's good. I'm glad that they don't just like drag on. They certainly go really fast for me. I look down and we're like almost at 2 hours. So I try to keep them around 2 hours. We, of course, can stream about this case more as more comes out. Monster that did this. Someone is getting away with these murders. If it's not a transient, these murders are long gone and possibly killing in a new state. These monsters need to face death. Amelia, yes. I mean, it's wild to think that this person has not been caught yet. So, thanks, beautiful wife. Yeah. Beautiful wife is on her way home. I am looking forward to seeing her. But real quick, I guess it's worth mentioning, since we're near the end of this stream, let's quickly go over the Anthony Shots profile. So there was the new development recently is that there was a profile under the name Anthony Shots that I believe Abby or Libby or both were talking to and potentially being catfished. So there was a guy that's connected to these profiles. Let's listen to what we know about the Anthony Shots profile so far. This is a relatively new development in the case. So this is actually in December of 2021. So just a little over a month ago, this is what the new development in the case was. So let's listen in on this.
First of all, again, stress that Keegan Kline is not charged. He is not a suspect in the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German, but he admits to using the Anthony Shots social media profile for about 6 months to communicate with underage girls and receive sexually explicit photos and videos from them. The bodies of Abby and Libby were found on February 14, 2017 in Delphi. 11 days later and 40 minutes to the northeast, on February 25th, Indiana State Police, the FBI, and Peru Police served a search warrant at a house in Peru, where Kline was living with his father. Police confiscated a half-dozen phones and electronic devices. Court records say that Kline admitted to receiving about 100 sexual pictures from underage girls. Police found sexually explicit images and videos of underage girls on several devices. But court documents reveal Kline factory reset one phone 2 days before police arrived.
Okay, this, regardless of how this guy's attached to this, what a sleazebag, right? Soliciting photos from underage girls, posing as a young guy. My goodness. Also have to pause and say thank you so much, Joyce, for the $20 super chat. Coffee on your trip. Absolutely. Thank you. Every time I get a coffee on this trip, I'm going to think of all of you guys donating. Not all of the money is going towards coffee, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Joyce. Really, really appreciate it. Also, Alex, someone said something about the streams. Hey, Alex, your streams are like a party. I enjoy your cases, and the people in here are so lovely. Yes, everyone in here is just wonderful, and they keep it pretty respectful, and I enjoy that. I like going down different tangents and thinking about other possibilities, and people keep it pretty respectful, and I appreciate that because we're talking about some pretty sensitive stuff. So thank you for keeping it professional. And thank you again, Joyce, for that super chat. Let's listen in on the rest of this.
And deleted the internet history and social media apps from another phone before turning it over to police 2 days after he was interviewed. Klein was not charged until August 19, 2020. He faces 30 felony counts from 2016 and 2017 for possession of child pornography, child exploitation, obstruction of justice, and synthetic identity deception. Keegan Klein has been held in the Miami County Jail for well over a year now since his arrest. Klein is represented by a public defender who told me this afternoon, "My client had nothing to do with the unexpected, untimely, and unfortunate passing of the girls in Delphi." Klein's
Okay, so let's listen in on this next video. And this is actually, they're going to be talking to the guy that actually, that Klein used the images for that profile. So this guy is actually living in Alaska now as a cop. And so we're going to listen to that, and then we're going to continue. Thank you guys so much. You guys are Mimi. Thank you so much. Jay Barrett. You guys are saying such nice things. Yeah, you guys are awesome. So let's listen in on this.
Seen these photos a lot recently. An update now. That fake social media profile shared by detectives investigating the murder of 2 young girls in Delphi. Well, now for the very first time, we're hearing from the man whose pictures were stolen and used by that Anthony Schatz profile. Our Jenny Runovich talked with the former model and now current police officer in Alaska, who frankly was pretty shocked to see his face connected to this investigation in Indiana.
Vincent Kowalski, a police officer in Alaska, found himself in the middle of a murder investigation here in Indiana this month. His photos when he was a model after high school, stolen and used, police say, by a man accused of catfishing young girls. The fake Anthony Schatz account also caught the attention of detectives investigating the Delphi murders. Kowalski says he found out about the investigation when an Instagram follower sent him a link to a press release with his face front and center.
Just seeing your face blasted all over the news was crazy.
Kowalski, who still values fitness to work as a police officer, no longer models on Instagram. He's now a father of 2 girls. So the association with a child exploitation case and a murder investigation of 2 teens is especially troubling.
I got a young daughter, about 1 year and 4 months old, and my other daughter is 10, so she's coming up on the social media age. Soliciting videos from young girls, like, that's disgusting, and it makes me sick. But to know that 2 young girls possibly lost their life because of my picture, it's the worst of the worst. How you just keeps you up at night as a parent, knowing that people are out there like that.
Look at all the accounts that are using fake images from him. I mean, this is crazy. These all have images from this Vince Kowalski guy. And he said it. I mean, he's like, to think that these girls, because I think, and I don't know if it's confirmed, but I think that these girls, or one of them, Abby or Libby, was talking to this Anthony Schatz profile at one point. I know some people are saying that there's a mistake with it, and this has nothing to, it's not tied to it at all. But I don't know. I mean, imagine there's some people that also think that this sleazebag, what's his name, Klein, in this video, the guy that was using the account was part of some child pornography. Ooh, I should say CP. YouTube doesn't like that word. This like CP like group of people that share photos amongst each other. And the actual guy that was in the video, the older guy tracking them down, could have just been a part of this fascination with, whatever it may be. It's terrible to think. It's terrible to think about all this, but I mean, it's possible. So I don't know. I actually took this image of Klein here, and I know a lot of people think, and I think that you're right, in that he looks too young, and also he is much heavier than the person from the images that we see here. And this guy, you just can kind of tell he looks older, right? But you never know. He could be wearing like a hat. I just don't think the body shape doesn't line up. This happened obviously in 2017. A lot has happened between 2017 and now. COVID has happened. some people, you can gain and lose weight in certain time frames. So I took this photo of Klein from 2017, and I actually took an account or an app. Basically, you're not gonna be able to see this. If I move this down, you might be able to see it a little better. I basically made it. I took his beard off, and he looks just awful. What a sleazebag. But it's not gonna look good at all. There we go. I took his beard off there, and I was like, does he look a little bit more? And then I tried to make him thinner as well, to see what he looked like as a thinner guy. But this app just really, it couldn't deal with his face. His face was too it was too large or something. I don't know. You couldn't make a face like that look thinner. I don't know. Those apps are interesting. But I was playing around with that, and I was just thinking, like, what could I do with some of these apps to try to like make him look more like the guy that they're looking for. Lynn says Klein was much skinnier in 2017. I mean, I'm sure he was, unless he's lost weight. But I imagine someone like that who looks that kind of overweight likely has just progressively gotten more overweight, right? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say specifically. Kevin says, look at the right foot, way distinct. Yeah, you're right. It is a very distinct walk. You have to imagine also the way you have to walk on that railroad or that bridge is super specific in order to not, fall through or roll your ankle or anything like that. But I agree with you. I don't think it looks like him. All right. What do you guys think? I think I'm going to end the stream pretty quickly. I don't know if anyone wants to call in. If anyone wants to call in, I'll do like 2 calls, but let me know. Mike says, what a good idea. Yeah, thanks. Since the composite sketch from, I guess this would be the one. This is what I was comparing it to. I was thinking more of the composite sketch rather when I was showing you guys this. So it's like, does this guy look like our guy in that composite sketch? I'm like, this guy kind of looks big boned. He's got a big jaw. Because and I don't know if I was clear on this, they went back on their initial police sketch. This is the one that they had first. First and foremost was this one that we're seeing here. And then they actually decided to release this much higher quality version that they ended up going back on after the fact. And now police want people to really look into this image here. So I don't know. Someone was talking about different accounts and different YouTube pages to follow. What are you guys saying? Repeat, think he's a recliner perv, but not murderer. Seems too lazy. Yeah, he could be. Someone was talking about a YouTube channel to check out. Matthew says, like, he seems like he was just walking and then saw these kids and probably walked that spot all the time, just didn't want them to be there and was telling them to leave. Matthew brings up a really good point in that what if this guy's not our guy at all? Because they could have just filmed being like, oh, creepy old guy coming across the bridge. It could mean nothing because we have no idea what unfolded afterwards. Man, that's a good point, Matthew. I mean, but then again, I don't know. Oh, Alicia says, sent you a link to a possible older photo of Klein. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia coming in clutch with the links. Everyone, give a shout out to Alicia as we near the end of the stream, for always hopping on when she can and just moderating the chat. Not that you guys need moderated super, often. You guys all keep it cool, like I said, but Alicia's in here very often. I appreciate her. This looks like an older photo of Klein. Yeah, okay. This is in a subreddit called, it's the Libyan Abbey subreddit. So interesting. So KK in 2017. So let's just compare that to this one here. Oh. I mean, and I think that this was actually taken by, this composite sketch was taken by someone that that saw somebody on the trails that day. So I mean, they might not be actually doing it based off this video. Imagine if this video has nothing to do, the guy in this video has nothing to do with it. I mean, that looks a lot more like him there. It's hard to say, though. It's hard to say. Lene says, hey, Alicia, will you ask Aaron to... You don't have to... I will read this. Let's see. Ask Aaron to reach out to Annie Elsie's 10 to Life channel. They could really help each other digging and putting out information. I've seen 10 to Life. Yeah. Annie. I follow her. Let me make sure if I'm thinking about the right person. Yeah, she's got like a ton of really great videos. I mean, the thing about it is, I know a lot of people reach out to me about collaborating with other YouTubers. It's really difficult because everyone kind of works on their own schedule. And some people just want to do their own thing. I do this when I can, so I don't even have a set schedule. So it'd be hard to really coordinate something, but I can definitely look into it. She makes great videos. And yeah, I mean, I would love to collaborate with people in the future for sure. But only if it makes sense. Kevin says, I like to hear his voice. You want to hear his voice once more? Let me play this audio file. Like I said earlier, you can actually download the high-res audio files from the, it's this site here, in.gov. They've got the audio files edited, the actual videos of the guy walking. You can download all those. So let me play the audio file once more for everyone, especially if you've joined late. And then we'll bounce out of here. I think I'll probably do a video of some sort on the Delphi case, just as more of a consolidated video going through some of these maps. And then, of course, we'll be here to go live as anything comes out in the future. All right, here's the guys down the hill clip, okay?
Guys. Down the hill. Guys. Down the hill.
Let me just do it again. One sec.
Guys. Down the hill. Guys. Down the hill. Guys. Down the hill.
Guys, down the hill. Whew, man, creepy. Alicia posted the link. Thank you so much, Alicia. A few people just asked about the link. Alicia's on it. Where'd the comments go? Where'd the comments go? I don't see you guys. I have you on my laptop, I guess. Okay, here we go. Yeah, thanks for posting that. Thank you, Aaron. I'm loving your channel, streaming, and all the awesome vibes in chat always. Well, thank you so much, G Mama. Lene, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. I've been putting Aaron's channel on her and hers. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Compare man's voice to Klein's, who is in jail. We haven't been able to compare. I'll have to look for some videos with Klein. That might be something I do in an actual video. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that idea. Thank you so much. In my opinion, BG is carrying a chemical canister on his back, has a facial shield hanging to the right of his face and hand that is hidden. Chemical sprayer in that hand. Bridge guy has a chemical sprayer. I don't know. I mean, it's just so hard to tell what is in. It's just so hard to tell. I mean, like I said earlier, I think that this is a gun. It just looks like an outline of a gun, but I don't know. Hard to say. Julie says, to me, it sounds like two different men. So Julie's heard both men, it sounds like. Yes, it hunts me. Can't do it. There is scrambled audio between guys and down the hill where you hear static. Yeah, I think it sounds like crunching leaves. I don't know. Someone had commented on that as well, of thinking that they were hearing some other things during that. But yeah, I don't know. I can't really hear anything else. Mimi, Aaron, have you heard of Deer Kit? I don't think so. What is Deer Kit? Like a kit that you take hunting with like knives and stuff? Jay Barrett says, this was so interesting, guys. I was not at all familiar with the case, but I will read up on it for sure. Well done, Aaron. Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think one of the more interesting things, and this is what I might make a video on, I'm going to reach out to the guy on Reddit who made this map. I think it's a super solid map just to show the overall location where they searched in relation to where they found the bodies, go over kind of the property line. So if you guys see me post a video, it'll probably be a lot of repeat information, but I think I might make a video to come out later on that kind of just goes through the details of the overall area. But there's a lot of good content out there already. It's not like I need to make a whole lot of videos, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. You guys have great comments still just coming through. Maybe the phone was in her pocket and it's just the rustling of her jacket. Paige, I agree. I think she could have the phone in her pocket at that point. And that's what you could be hearing instead of it could be just some rustling of the clothes. I agree with that. Oh, Klein has music videos? That's all I've seen? Oh, interesting. But yeah, okay. Well, I think I'm going to do another Summer Wells live stream this week, possibly, even though it's like, what do we talk about there? Those live streams though, everyone's so engaged during those live streams. And so I think I might do another Summer Wells live stream. We'll see. I leave Friday morning. Cheryl just says, have a good, safe trip. Thank you. So between now and Friday is just tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So I guess I only have Wednesday and Thursday. So I may stream only one of those days. So I'll look at what is kind of going on and what we can talk about. And so maybe we'll hop back into Summer Wells on Thursday. Like I said, I leave Friday, and then maybe I'll have a video come out while I'm away. But wish me luck on the first bit of production for this documentary. I wish I could tell you guys more. But I have to keep it very low key. The donations, the memberships, like I said, they are all appreciated. So thank you guys so much for the people who've donated and joined throughout this stream and in past streams. I really appreciate it. One more like and we'll have 200. So everyone, if you haven't hit the like button, do it on the way out. We will hit 200 likes. Thank you guys for being here. I know that this was a tough one to go through. If you have any information, I have left the tip line in the description as well. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream, and enjoy your evening. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, no. Not without mentioning, this is part of the tier 2 subs. The tier 2 supporters need to be acknowledged here. Of course, anyone that has joined since this list has been made will be added to the next list for the next stream, but that's part of the tier 2 club, is getting acknowledged at the end of a stream. So thank you again to the tier 2 homies for the support. There they are once again. That's part of it. I got to fulfill those requirements for the tier 2 people. So thanks again, everyone, for the support. Angela, yeah. Pleasure chatting with you all as well. Steve, goodbye. Alex, goodbye. Curious Cat, goodbye. Julie, see you to Alicia as well. Thanks for being here. Patsy, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, Mimi.